Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new weekly, and this time I'm going to keep painting on painting on this bases. So these are the bases that I showed you how to do last week, the previous week, and this week I'm going to explain you how to paint them and how to finish them in a way that they look realistic. So these are the different bases. I will do some of them on camera, and you can imagine that. Yeah, I will not do them all because it's a repetition. So we will start taking a big brush. Okay, you can take any. I'm just looking for a nice big brush that I have it there. Okay, and we're going to start painting first the sun. We're going to paint the sun with a quite dark color. Once I find the brush I wanted to use, so let's use this one. So I will use Reynolds height. I will use for that. Okay, and we are going to really water it down. So we are going to put it, and we want this to be quite okay. This is why I suggest you to use a cheap brush. Don't go for an expensive one to do that. Okay, so we just very water it. We are going to paint the base, and as you can see, this is very really thin. The paint you want very thin because it is very rough, and you want to really the most important thing is that it goes in between the sun. So if the top of the sun is not completely covered, it's not a problem. You really want to go more on the recesses with this color than on the surface of the sun, because we are going to do several different brushes. So you can see I will do all the sun like that, and I come back. So the Reynolds height have been applied. On the sun, and now I'm going to use scaven blight ink on the bark to make it look grey. You can use really any dark grey if you want to go grey. There is other colors that you can use as well, but in the case I will start with grey colors, and then I will mimetize them with the sun. I realize here, for example, once you paint, there is the part that can be tricky sometimes to reach, because you want to avoid you want to avoid white, of course, rendering white, and you really want to avoid white on the base, on this type of base. So really go inside here and be sure. On the bases you don't have to go thin. They have a lot of texture, and I don't need to go thin there. Okay, so this is okay. The only thing is, advice, you can wait until the sun is completely dry to go to the grey, to avoid that you start mixing them. To be fair, I don't think it's a big issue when you are painting sun this type of things, because normally they should there is not really a hard border between where the rock starts and where the sun starts. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to apply a base. I will again thin it down to keep the texture, right? You can put a lot of paint. The texture is quite rough, so it's difficult that you are going to cover. There is no detail really. You want to keep just the texture, but thin it down because you will be able to paint faster. And as you can see there, I had a small contamination, but it's okay. So it's not really a big deal. You don't need to really wait that the previous layer is dry to do this one. Once we have done this, because this is quite thinned, we will need to wait until this dries before doing the dry brushes. This is really important. You cannot do the dry brush if the previous layers have not paint. So this way I do this one day, and then I wait for the day after to really do or at least wait for a couple of hours before doing the dry brush. So I want to be really sure that the paint is completely dry and I'm ready to do the dry brushes. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to paint the grey, and I come back once this is done, but not too much mystery here. So far it's quite straightforward. So this is just applying the bases that you need for the next paint jobs. Okay, so I keep doing that and I come back. Once the paint is completely dry, and this is the day after, we are going to start doing the dry brush, and we are going to start with the rocks. So we are going to use lighter tones of gray. In my case, I will use Downstone. I will use Administrator Gray. Okay, and then I will use some from the dry paints. I will use Terminus Stone. I will use a little bit of Underhype Hash, and I will use Longbeard Gray. Okay, so I like to use different tones of grays to give more color variation. So we start first with a heavy dry brush with Downstone Gray. Okay, we are going to go pretty heavy with that, not too dry, I mean. Okay, I will use really a bad, you want to use a bad brush to do that. Okay, so I will go heavy, and then you can see so I don't dry it too much, and you can be irregular as you want. Okay, this is quite straightforward, I would say. We'll take a different brush. I don't like this too much, so we can take okay. You can see, and I'm doing here 2 examples. I will keep doing now the tutorial with these 2 examples that you have on the screen. This one with a big rock, and then the other one with a small rock. Here is still a little bit visible, so and you can go what I say, as you see here. I put more here in that side. I really don't dry it too much. Okay, in that case, so I'm going quite. This is not called. It's you want a rough finishing. It's what I'm looking for. Okay, you want a rough finishing, and just popping up. And yeah, I said the bark is still visible. The paint maybe it was good to do a second layer, but it's not. I don't think it's a big problem to see a little bit of the bark. Can be because the bark have a quite nice color, and yeah, it will not. What you don't want to see is the white of the primer. Okay. As you can see there, I start popping up the different texture of the rock, but have very nice texture. I really, yeah, I really encourage to use bark more than how it's called the other. I forgot the name. So really. And it's better than stones, the real stones. All option is to use real stones, but then on real stones it's difficult to pin the miniature on top, and the miniature is much heavier. So many stones you can use when you have a miniature that needs a lot of balance and you want to increase the weight at the bottom. Instead of using bark, you can use the stones. I prefer the bark, it's lighter and have a very rough finishing. You see this one here that was very small, then here I'm going to do the stone that is coming with the miniature. Okay, you can see I go very rough in this first stuff. Now I will change to this was what I did now, Downstone Gray, Downstone, sorry, and now I'm going to use Administrator Gray. It's a lighter gray. Okay, and we are going to do. You don't need to wait now too much between layers. The layers are completely dry once you go to the next one. Okay. You can see these even pops are more the details. And again I go quite heavy. I don't, and you don't want to be, as I said, you don't want to be completely balanced or completely, you don't want to be homogeneous on the application. That's what I mean. So this is too much. If it's too much, just wrap it up a little bit with your finger and you will see that the finishing is good. So but it's good to have parts that are lighter and parts that are darker. Okay. We'll do here a little bit more. Yeah, something like that is okay here, and we are going to apply this one. You can see this one have a very different texture, but it's popping up all the details. Okay. And I recommend to do the rocks before the sun, because the sun will dirten the rocks, but the rocks will not dirten the sun. Okay, I'm going to use now Terminator's Grey. This is a warm color from the dry paints from Games Workshop. Okay, my dry paints are really dry now. I don't know if this is still useful, but doesn't matter. It will be this really will give a very rough finishing. I don't dry them too much. Okay, for example, I can apply here a little bit more. You see that how much is popping up. You don't want to be homogeneous as in the previous one. So I just apply in some parts, others I leave it with the previous. Okay, I want this rock really to be integrated, so I want to put a little bit more there. And then we can apply, for example, here. This is good enough. I'm going to do the same with the other one. For example, let's apply just on this part of the rock. It's up to you how homogeneous you want to do. I recommend not to be. Okay. Now I'm going to use this one that is long weird gray. It's less warmer, it's more greyish, more cold gray, sorry. As you can see, and not even, and then we can do here. Okay, just a little bit, not too much, it's okay. Then here I'm going to do just next to it, okay? Because what I want to do next is I will use the green one, okay, that is Underhive Ash, also from Games Workshop. I will clean now my brush. Okay. Then with the green we are going to put this just very little, because these are quite desertic rocks, so I'm going to put very little. If you are doing more on a forest, you want to put more, but you see, just a small touch, that's all. And this one I will apply it, for example, here. Okay, just one side, a little bit. Okay, that's all. Okay, once we have the rocks done, we are going to do the sun. And for the sun, I'm going to use brown colors. Okay, I'm going to leave the sun quite brown, and I will use Morphan brown, I will use Skvak brown, and I will finish with Tau light ochre. Okay, so let's just start with Morphan brown. And you can even go a little bit on the bottom of the rocks. As I say, you see, I take it from there, that is. So you just want to remove a little bit the paint, and I go. And if you're dirtying a little bit the bottom of the rocks, it's okay. Okay. I'm going to do here. Okay. 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 Let me move the camera a little bit. Skvak brown next. And as well, you can be applying more in one part than others. I'm going to use all the base, how it would look like at the end. Normally, the last steps that I will do, I'm doing this once the miniature is painted, but I will do this just to finalize the work and show you how I do the bases. I'm going to apply now tau ochre light. Okay, I have the paint quite dry, but it's good to do that. As you can see, this is almost orange color. We are going to apply, for example, here I will apply, and you see, I know what I do is I almost do not dry the brush, I go very light, and all the sun is popping up. Okay. Next thing, and the next thing normally I do, these steps I do it normally before painting the miniature, because these are quite dirty techniques and I want to avoid to dirten the miniature once it's painted. But the next technique, normally I use it once the miniature is painted, and I'm going to apply, I'm going to put some pigments. So I have pigments, I will use H Rust. Okay, this is from Forge Wall. Okay. This is also used to make some rust effects, and I like this because this will look like the color is a very earthy color, and will give the sensation that we have like iron oxide, something like that. So I will put, for example, here a little bit, okay, and you see that this is like the tuning, and it's very matte. So this will give a nice variation. You can also put it at the bottom, for example, here. Okay. We can do a little bit here, for example, and we can do, for example, something like here. Okay, this will help to give a more realistic finishing. Okay, we can put, I recommend to put it especially on the bottom of the rocks. Okay, for example, we can go here and we can put it a little bit up, put a little bit more. Okay, I'm just now stopping. Something like that. Just to add a little bit more variation, you can go more or less. I like to not to abuse too much of that. So, but I think this is good enough. Okay, you see how it looks like. Normally I do this at the end because now I need to fix this. If not, I can dirten the miniature once I'm painting. Here, what I will do is I will apply it a lot here. This will help me to integrate this part of the feet with the rest of the base. Okay. And we are going to apply a little bit here. We want to be sure, because okay. So, and we can do something like that. This will add some additional variation to the color of the base and will make the base more interesting. So that's all. I think with that, remember, if you rub your finger, this is not fixed until you apply a fixing liquid or varnish. So this is why I do this at the end normally, because if I put my finger on top of that, I can move the paint on the miniature. The last thing to finish this type of base is to put some tuff. In that case, I will use this one. Is Midland Tuft from Citadel. Okay, let me show you how it looks like. It comes, it's self-adhesive and it's this type of things, I think they are more realistic than the normal glass. I like this one because it looks like bone, and normally these ones I don't have the feeling that you need to repaint them. So I will take a small of this stuff. Okay, and you can put it, for example, here. I will use my tool to push it, and this is one turf there. We can put another one. We can put, for example, I will take one that is very small. Okay, and we can put this very small one here. And this is what I like. Oh. Maybe it's easier if I use this, and I can go easily there. Okay, you see a small. These are the small touches that make the miniature to look better. We can put maybe one bigger there. Sometimes it can be difficult to remove from the, but you can see they are self-adhesive. We can put another one here. Okay, this one is done. This is a done base. Okay, you see. And yeah, this one, I'm not sure if I want to put more. Maybe I will put one small there in the front, because I don't want to put too much grass or turf in this case. Plants, I don't know. So we can put another one here. Okay, and that's all. So we can keep this. Now let's make a look to the bases. So this is how to do this type of rocky, not desertic, well, a little bit desertic bases. Okay. So you see this with less rock, a very small rock there, and the guy more on the ground. And this is just how to do a guy jumping from a rock. I think this is a very nice pose. This looks very, very dynamic. I know the guy is almost out of the base. The base is quite stable. You see, if I move, so it's not falling down easily. Okay, so it's quite stable because this is weighing more than the miniature. And the weight, yeah, we have part out of the base, but it's quite stable. So, just to show you, I cannot see, you cannot see there, but it's. I can tell you, you can tilt it. You see, I'm tilting now almost 45 degrees, and it's not falling down. So, this is how to do this type of rocky bases. I hope you have find this interesting, and you like it. And please let me know if there is any technique that you would like to see in future. If not, I will now paint these guys on the weekly painting, and I will show different ways to do jaguar or leopard and skin, and how also to play with the feathers, so to make them look nice. That's all for now. I hope you find this tutorial interesting, and this is for this week. This is all for this week. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon account if you want to support me for future. And yeah, and just if you can also support me just giving a like and subscribing to my channel. That's all for now. As usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you all later. Bye.